Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike Bass back again with another forecast update for you for this August the 12th, 2023. I'm hoping everybody's having a great Saturday out there so far. Hope everybody has a great Saturday afternoon. Hope everybody continues to stay safe and well and also enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Okay, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the tropical weather outlook here, to take a look at the tropical satellite, and also we'll take a look at the lower 48 here as well. Also, we're going to take a look at the weather radar across the nation. Also, we're going to take a look at the watches, warnings, and advisory map for your location across the nation. Also, we're going to take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And also, we're going to take a look at the Climate Prediction Center outlook on temperatures and precipitation over the next 8 to 14 days. So stick around through the entire video. Do not miss a beat of this forecast. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed to my channel. Go ahead and smash it today, and you're in. You get my forecast twice per day, unless something comes up. Other than that, also, like these videos, share these videos, and let's go ahead and get the show on the road here, folks. Alrighty. As you can see here, we got a little system here moving off the African coast. Got another one behind it. This one here looks kind of fairly impressive. Got a little of it. But as the high pressure remains in charge, also the dust kind of keeping most of this area, the main MDR region right now, null phase, so there's really nothing going on right now. So like I said, all these systems are being suppressed to the south, and nothing can get going in the tropical Atlantic. Also, wind, like I said, pretty well most of the Atlantic, even the Caribbean Sea, and also into shut down for the tropics at this time. To the southeastern United States coast, a little bit of scattered activity, a little tropical wave there moving to the west. Also scattered activity near the Bahamas, also down toward Cuba there as well, and a little bit in the Caribbean Sea, but nothing right now currently organized. So for the next 7 to 10 days, the tropics will be shut down for a while. Nothing much going to happen in August toward the first part of September. Something could start getting more organized. It could be something later on down the road. September looks like it may be a little busy, the tropical department, and maybe October, early October, and then things will start kind of shutting down after that. So we'll just want to give you a heads up on that. Also, as you can see here, we got a little system here over portions of the Ohio Valley, all the way back into portions of these middle portions of the country. This system here is moving off to the east, to the southeast, also into Kentucky. Also, will continue to push off to the east as well. I would not be surprised northern Alabama, northern Georgia, maybe portions of South Carolina, maybe western North Carolina could get in on some activity as well. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on to the weather radar across the nation. As you can see, we got scattered activity over the northeastern United States, a little bit more widespread here over near Toronto and Ontario, Canada as well. Also, well, Montreal, Canada, excuse me. Got scattered activity off in the eastern coast of the east coast of the United States. Here's that little cluster of showers and storms over portions of Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Alabama, back into Arkansas, with some showers and storms. Got some severe weather also in that region as well, and also up into the Ohio and Michigan region as well. Scattered activity over portions of Missouri, also into Oklahoma, also into Nebraska and Kansas region, also into portions of Colorado, also Arizona, New Mexico, also portions of Nevada, Utah, scattered activity over portions of North Dakota, and also into Montana as well. Also down toward the Florida Keys also. Some showers and storms there as well. Alright, let's move on to the watches, warning, and advisory map for your location across the nation. Alright, as you can see here, we got tornado watches are in effect. Some tornado warnings also in effect. Thunderstorm warnings also in effect for portions of Ohio and into New York State, also Pennsylvania. We got a severe thunderstorm watch for you guys in Tennessee, also northern Alabama. We got a few ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning over portions of Tennessee. Also, we have heat advisory for portions of southern Florida, much of Georgia, coastal South Carolina, portion of Alabama, also into Mississippi, southern Kentucky. I mean Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee that is. Portions of Arkansas, portions of Oklahoma, portions of central Texas, southern Texas as well. Alright, we got excessive heat warnings also in effect for central and northern Florida, southern Georgia, much of Alabama, much of Mississippi, all of Louisiana, portions of Arkansas, much of Oklahoma, and also into portions of central and eastern and southern Texas as well. We got some flood advisory, flood warnings in effect for you guys, in effect for Tennessee, also into Missouri. Hydro issues there as well. Flood advisory for portions of Kansas. Flood watch in effect for northern portions of you guys here in New Mexico. Excuse me. Red flag warning is also in effect for you guys, and excessive heat warning is also in effect for portions of Northern California, Oregon. Excessive heat watches in effect for you guys up into portions of Washington State and also into portions of Idaho as well. Special weather statement continues for Alaska and also, Central Alaska. Storm warning, gale warning is also in effect for the area as well. The Hawaiian Chain Island looks a-okay. Alright, we're going to move on to the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. As you can see here, we got general thunderstorms over Maine, also down through portions of the mid-Atlantic region, also through Virginia, through the Carolinas, down to the Florida Keys, at Alabama, Mississippi, all the way back into Texas, also New Mexico, Arizona, California, Nevada, also into portions of Montana, North and South Dakota, all the way back into Missouri. Have a marginal risk over to South Dakota and portions of Nebraska, also from Nebraska all the way to North Texas, all the way through portions of Tennessee, all the way to the northeastern United States. We got a slight risk of severe weather over portions of the middle portion of the country, like this includes Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Also again over here in portions of Alabama, also into portions of Georgia, Tennessee, and again up here in portions of Ohio, West Virginia, all the way into portions of New York State. Enhanced risk also in effect for you guys in Ohio, into New York State and Pennsylvania. Alright, if you live in Cleveland, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Akron, Ohio, Syracuse, New York, Parma, Ohio, enhanced risk for severe weather this afternoon. If you live in New York, Columbus, Ohio, Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Wichita, Kansas, slight risk for severe weather this afternoon. If you live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Indianapolis, Indiana, Memphis, Tennessee, Baltimore, Maryland, Boston, Massachusetts, marginal risk for severe weather this afternoon. Let's take a look at the tornado probability for today. We have a 5% in the northeast, 2% there as well. Alright, if you live in Cleveland, Ohio, Akron, Ohio, Parma, Ohio, Canton, Ohio, and Youngstown, Ohio, 5% risk for a tornado. If you live in Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Patterson, New Jersey, Syracuse, New York, Allentown, Pennsylvania, 2% risk for a tornado this afternoon. Winds. This is damaging winds. We got 5% in brown, 15 in the yellow spots, and 30% area there. This includes Cleveland, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Akron, Ohio, Syracuse, New York, Parma, Ohio. If you live in the New York area, Columbus, Ohio, Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Wichita, Kansas, 15% risk for damaging winds. Also, if you live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Indianapolis, Indiana, Memphis, Tennessee, Baltimore, Maryland, Boston, Massachusetts, 5% risk for damaging wind. Let's take a look at the hail probability. 5% in brown, 15% in yellow, and yellow slashed area. That's the significant area for large hail. This includes Cleveland, Ohio, Akron, Ohio, Syracuse, New York, Parma, Ohio, Canton, Ohio. If you live in the 15% risk area, this includes New York, Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Cincinnati, Ohio, If you live in the 5% risk, this includes Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Indianapolis, Indiana, Baltimore, Maryland, Boston, Massachusetts, and Nashville, Tennessee. All right, let's take a look at your Sunday forecast from the Storm Prediction Center. Okay, we have marginal risk over Maine, back in the portion of Vermont, also into Massachusetts. Also again over here in portion of Kentucky, all the way into portion of South Dakota, back to New Mexico, all the way back into northwest Georgia, northern Alabama. We have a slight risk over North Texas, all the way into Kentucky and Tennessee. General thunderstorms elsewhere from portions of the northeast down to the Carolinas, Florida Keys, back to Louisiana, Mississippi, back to Texas, all the way back to Nevada, California. Also into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin region as well. All right, if you live in Nashville, Tennessee, Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, slight risk for severe weather on Sunday. If you live in Memphis, Tennessee, Boston, Massachusetts, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington, Fayetteville, Kentucky, marginal risk for severe weather this afternoon. Sunday afternoon, or Sunday that is. The tornado probability, 2% in the green, 5% in the brown. That's pretty much over Missouri. If you live in Springfield, Missouri, Rolla, Missouri, Ozark, Missouri, Nixon, Missouri, and Lebanon, Missouri, 5% risk for a tornado. If you live in Kansas City, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, Overland Park, Kansas, Kansas City, Kansas, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 2% risk for a tornado on Sunday. Take a look at the wind probability, 5% in brown, 15% in the yellow. If you live in the yellow area, this is the 15% risk area. This includes Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Nashville, Tennessee, Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma. And if you live in the 5% risk, this includes Memphis, Tennessee, Boston, Massachusetts, Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington, Fayetteville, Kentucky, Birmingham, Alabama. All right, that's for damage and wind. Let's take a look at the hail probability, 5% in the brown, 15% in the yellow. If you live in Kansas City, Missouri, Wichita, Kansas, St. Louis, Missouri, Overland Park, Kansas, Springfield, Missouri, 15% risk for damage, large hail. 5%, and this includes Memphis, Tennessee, Boston, Massachusetts, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Nashville, Tennessee, Omaha, Nebraska. This is for large hail. All right, let's move on to day number 3. This will be your Monday outlook. Okay, we got general thunderstorm portion of New York State all the way down to the Florida Keys, back to Louisiana, back up Wisconsin, portion of Minnesota, and also into Iowa. Same over here in portion of Texas through New Mexico, Arizona, all the way back into Northern California. We have a marginal risk up here in portions of the Mid-Atlantic region, all the way back into portions of Kentucky, Tennessee, northern, just a little portion of northeast Mississippi and northwest Alabama. We have a slight risk of severe weather from Kentucky all the way to portion of Pennsylvania. This is for you Monday. All right. This includes Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Lexington, Fayetteville, Kentucky, Charleston, West Virginia, Huntington, West Virginia, Harrisburg, Virginia. If you live in a marginal risk, this includes New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Columbus, Ohio, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C. region. The probability, 5% in the brown, 15% in the yellow. This includes the same areas I called out: Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Lexington, Fayetteville, Kentucky, Charleston, West Virginia, Huntington, West Virginia, Harrisburg, Virginia. That's 15% risk. If you live in the 5%, this includes New York, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Columbus, Ohio, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C. region for severe weather on your Monday. Let's take a look at day 4, because we do have some more severe weather to talk about, and then we'll get to the Climate Prediction Center. Okay, this will be day 5 here. This will be Wednesday. We have a 15% risk for severe weather with Minnesota and portions of the Dakotas. And if you live in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Moorhead, Minnesota, Chaplin, Minnesota, Elk River, Minnesota, Ramsey, Minnesota, you're under a 15% risk for severe weather. Marginal risk will outline the 15% risk area, and this should include North Dakota, South Dakota, portions of Kansas, Iowa, also into portions of Wisconsin and northern Michigan as well, for a marginal risk for severe weather on Tuesday. Okay, Let's move on to the Climate Prediction Center outlook for the next 8 to 14 days, and then we're going to wrap up the video. Okay, as you can see, much of the United States is under the 8 to 14 days, is well above normal temperatures, and only near normal temperatures is pretty much just over Maine and a little piece of West Washington State. Remainder of the area, from all the way from New Hampshire, or Vermont, all the way down to Florida, back to Texas, all the way back into Washington State, Minnesota, Montana, Oregon, all under above normal temperature, also well above normal temperature through Texas, also into portions of Kansas, all the way down into Alabama, Louisiana. Also South Carolina is next in line, all the way down to Florida, back to New Mexico and West Texas and Southern Texas for well above normal temperatures. That is about that's about 80 to 60 to 70% chance, and 70 to 80% chance in the well above normal temperature. Alaska, east side above normal, central normal, and west side will be below normal. The precipitation outlook, above normal precipitation for you guys in northern Maine. Also in the Pacific Northwest, around the Rockies and porting west to the west coast. This includes North and South Dakota, back down into portion New Mexico, Arizona, California, back to Washington State. Near normal precipitation expected from Minnesota back to New Mexico, South Texas to Florida, through Eastern Carolina, all the way back to a portion of the northeastern United States as well, northern Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. And below normal precipitation expected through Texas, through the Carolinas, all the way back up to Pennsylvania, Michigan. Also well below normal precipitation expected over Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, and also northwest Georgia. Alright, south side below normal temperatures in Alaska. Precipitation, near normal precipitation in the brown, and above normal central and northwest areas as well. Alright, well, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Everybody continue to stay safe and well. Also enjoy the weather, because it's the only weather you got. Like these videos, share these videos, consider subscribing if you have not. And we'll catch you back in the next video. Take care. Have a great Saturday afternoon.